Hey everybody, it's Patrick. It's after work. It's about 5 o'clock in the evening. Did not quite get out on time, but that's okay. I'm trying to get my beard back, as you can see. It's getting closer to winter time. I'm going to try to get the beard back. It's slow going so far. I was staying a little late this time because something actually exciting happened. I had had a little bit of a change in condition at the bedside that required some quick assessment and some quick decision making, a little more exciting than usual. That was process system is not responding. I wonder what that means. My phone just told me that the process system is not responding. That sounds ominous, but it looks like we're still recording, so it can't be all that bad. But yeah, a couple of calls to a doctor's office and relaying vital signs and doing serial vital signs and administering nitroglycerin and things like that, and a little bit more active than I'm used to on the routine visits. That was a welcome change. It's nice to know that I can still jump on rapid change happening right in front of me, and I know what things to look for and check out. And I don't normally have what's the word? There's usually not that much change going on before my eyes, at the bedside in these little 1 hour slices at the bedside that I have with these people. But I think that qualifies as the most interesting thing to happen to me all day. But I'm glad it turned out all right, that I was able to, leave at the end of it with everybody feeling comfortable and calm and confident and in control of things. That is what it's all about, especially if you're going by the customer satisfaction surveys. Don't get me started on that again. Well, we had our interdisciplinary team meeting today, and that's always a good time. I only had like one or two people to talk about because everybody else I thought was doing pretty good and didn't really need to discuss too much. And I got to see my old classmate and partner in crime come to a interdisciplinary team meeting today, so that was cool. I'm kind of trying to work out in my head what my schedule for these last 2 days of the week is going to be. I think the way things are turning out, I may have to see 6 people on Friday instead of the usual 3 or 4. But that's okay. I've done 6 visits in the day before, and the nature of the visits, I'm pretty confident I can get them all done in a timely fashion, especially because I don't have any kind of meetings or anything. Oh, I am supposed to meet with my supervisor, just kind of chat about how everything's going, because I'm relatively new, So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I can do that tomorrow instead of Friday. Well, it's interesting having these kind of scheduling challenges. Before I would just show up in a facility and it would be me and those 40 people for 8 hours, and then, if I was lucky, I would leave in 8 hours. Really, more often, just because of the nature of the state of that facility's organizational scheme, I was really, staying for 9 hours or 9.5 hours, but, that's okay, because I enjoyed it. But then having to fit everything into, 1 hour slots with travel time in between and, running into things that you don't expect along the way and stuff like that, it can get a little confusing. But it seems to be working pretty well so far. I think, only out of 12 patients, there's only I'd say 2 that are somewhat unstable and I need to check up on, by phone or in person, just to see how they're doing. So I think that's pretty manageable for right now. I'm not feeling overwhelmed or anything, but it is very stimulating. It gives me a lot to think about and to kind of plan for. And I'm kind of slowly getting to the same point of engagement that I was in my last job in my nursing home, where I would be thinking a lot about my assignment, or in this case my caseload, when I'm not at work, just because it's an engaging and interesting set of problems to work on, because this is my field of science, this is the kind of thing that I'm interested in. But when I was working as a per diem, I would just see people scattered across the whole caseload, and then get my visit done and get my note done, but not really like be involved in the long range planning, or trying to figure out what's going to come next. And it seems like a lot of that work isn't done at the bedside, or when I'm in the office. It's kind of done after work, when I'm kind of like reviewing everything in my head and thinking about stuff, and kind of debriefing and stuff, which is like really what this is supposed to be about, these videos. But it's very difficult to figure out like how much I can say without offending somebody. I know how much I can say without breaking the law, because that's very clear cut. Unfortunately, you don't have to break the law for people who don't understand like the privacy laws to be offended by it and cause trouble for you. That happened before with my blogging, which is a shame, because there are a lot of really interesting healthcare stuff going on in the blogosphere and the vlogosphere and all of that. But the thing that's hindering it isn't the privacy laws. It's other people misinterpreting the property laws because they're offended by something. That tends to be the reason. So there were a lot of really interesting clinical things to talk about today, but because some of them involve like things that other people might recognize, and then therefore those people might be offended by it, I will not do so, which is too bad, because those are really the things. So I have to put aside thinking about those things for a couple hours or so while I work on homework, because I've got another one of those ridiculous soap notes to write tonight. Another case study. This will be the last one, thankfully. I've got the case study this week, and then next week is the wiki, which isn't really a wiki, because there's no searchable revision history or any of the usual niceties that you associate with wikis. It's just something dressed up and called a wiki to impress educators. Like everything else in Blackboard or anything related to Blackboard, it's just poorly coded crap dressed up to impress people who don't know anything about computers. Much to the eternal chagrin of the students. Because if the students are technically competent, they're going to be frustrated by the sloppy design and the lack of functionality. And if the students are not technically competent, they're going to be frustrated by the poor user interface design and all the other general sloppiness about it. So it's kind of lose-lose. But yeah, I think next week is the wiki project, and the week after that I have to do the final exam, which is like a video of all of the assessments from all the video assessments that we did this module, and then like a 10-page pediatric paper, like a 10-page paper about a pediatric condition. I'm going to do it on Smith-Lemli-Opitz syndrome, and I'm probably not even going to start working on it until like next week sometime. Well, that's what's going on right now, and hope you're all having a good week, and I'll see you next time I do one of these.